Hello everyone. Today I'm here to do a vlog of my reflection on the conversation that I had with Nija Didi over my dilemma, and also on of the day when I had attended the second meeting uh, on 30th March, uh, a day prior to, a day after Holi. Today's meeting was one of a kind. I didn't in the world know how I would share my precarious position during my teacher Jotting's meeting. On the occasion of Holi, I was at my in laws, and my mother in law had gone out to the market, and I was expected to make chapatis for my grandmother in law. On the same day, we were scheduled to meet for our teacher Jotting's meeting in the evening. My first thought was that of feeling flustered. Why does it always have to be a tussle? Why can't I attend any meeting in peace? These were the usual questions that crossed my mind instantly after I came to know of the situation. When the first thoughts of, or the first moments of frustration and the impulsive thought of giving in to the demands of homely duties had subsided, the resolve to not let this moment slip by again kicked in. As the soothing thoughts of rationality and hope took over, I chose to make optimum use of the time instead of impulsively deciding to give up. The meeting was to start at 5 and go on until 6:30 in the evening. My grandmother-in-law was expected to have dinner around 6:30ish. Being prompt with cooking dinner meant making the sabzi in advance and reading up on the prior material so I don't feel out of place during the meeting. These I was able to do with ease. Then came the time for the meeting. From switching off my camera to attend to the questions of my old grandmother in law to fully enjoying the ongoing discussion of my fellow teachers, my hands were full. But hey, I didn't feel flustered at all. There even came a moment when I had to carry my laptop to the kitchen to make sure that I didn't miss out on the discussions. This also took care of not letting my dadi get annoyed at seeing me glued to the laptop when her dinner time was fast approaching. My surprise knew no bound when I talked about my situation to my fellow teacher changemakers. Since when did I develop this sense of comfort in sharing personal events with such ease? I wondered. After finally attending the meeting and being done with the chapatis, I let myself feel accomplished in pursuing what, to quote Neerja Didi, my soul wished for. Still, I cannot help but wonder how I transitioned from feeling flustered and almost giving up on the meeting to actually making it happen with other duties. I can think of different reasons, the primary most being my conversation with Neerja Didi, wherein she showed compassionate attitude towards my dilemma. She understood what I was going through and made it verbal for me. She understood my commitment to work. In fact, she acknowledged my priority towards the institution that employed me. This amazed me a bit, for I was expecting that she would persuade me to pursue what I wanted the most by exhorting me to heed to prioritize my areas of interest other than my work commitment. This was probably because I was looking for her to validate that kind of narrative. I had assumed that it was my over involvement that was the root cause of the problem, for I had myself heard that sort of narrative from teachers often enough to believe. But what I heard, to my pleasant surprise, was an affirmation of my work and personal commitment. It sort of eased the tension, to be very frank. Of course, your brother-in-law weddings is important. You should enjoy and have fun. Of course, your first priority is towards your school, she would say. At that point, I felt I was talking to a person who truly understood without fanning my already flustered self. He was a person whose first step to letting me think through was not to unnecessarily criticize my school for overburdening teachers with work, which I must confess I have seen teachers do on a default mode, but to understand and acknowledge. A very relaxing calm ensued that freed up my mental space from the exhausting internal badgering. With that, she reasoned. Think about how you could minimize missing the meetings. Find out those pockets of time wherein you could squeeze in hearing the recording or recording your thoughts. I understood that part of my problem was looking at how enormous and unscalable the mountain of pending work was getting instead of going one step at a time. There was another thing that Neerja Didi mentioned which struck at my heart profoundly. Though I don't remember the exact words, but here's what I understood of what she said. See, there is no way you wouldn't be able to do this. You just have to look for the immediate minimal requirements that you can fulfill towards a cause. What is most important, however, is even more than looking for pockets of free time, is asking yourself if being a part of this program is what brings you joy, if this is what your soul desires. Don't think that the members will not understand. Talk to them about your time crunch. Communicate to them about what you can at the moment. We are a community. We are all in this together. We know that each one of us are going through what each one of us are going through, and we would be patient enough. Looking back, I think the very flexibility that was accorded to me made me feel calmer, more confident. It helped me gain clarity on my priorities and what I truly wanted. Of course, my school was the topmost priority. But the fact that I would not have to give up on what my soul wanted was a reassurance that I do not have to. For there is that flexibility to coming back to the community who also straddled the same boat and was patient enough for fellow teachers to pick up the threads at their convenient time. There was no judgment involved, nor was there a nagging stress for meeting the timelines. And yet, everyone started to work magically on their own in their own time. All of us, despite our tough phases, managed to be present for the meeting in entirety. What did truly let that happen? The sense of community? Yes. The fact that we were all driven by our sense of contributing meaningfully to the field of education? Something that is over and above what we generally do in school? Yes. The acceptance that there is no time as perfect and that we need to find those pockets of free time wherein we can work towards what matters to us the most? Yes. The flexibility and freedom with which we were allowed to interact gave that opportunity to connect and understand others' predicament. It also gave us an opportunity to suggest alternatives that could ensure everyone's participation. Was that not motivating enough for teachers who wanted to contribute but were occupied, / going through a difficult phase, / hard pressed for time? Yes. A big time yes. Thank you.